Good afternoon, my friends. This is Paul, and today I'm going to be reviewing to you the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. When I first read reviews of the original Stanley Parable, one of the first things that caught my eye was the reviewer saying that he was hesitant to even describe what kind of game the Stanley Parable was. And so, for players that want to respect that viewer's requests, then I'll make this short version of the review first. And then if you need more information and footage, then you can just wait until this part of the video stops, or I can just edit in a timestamp in a minute. So, for those of you that want to go in as blind as possible, all you need to know about the Stanley Parable is that you make choices to affect what ending you get. And ultimately, your goal is to try to figure out what the true ending is. And along the way, the game is a commentary on what does it mean to make choice in video games and the nature of video game releases and so on and so forth. It's kind of similar to what Undertale and Doki Doki Literature Club did, albeit much more in your face about it. There's a lot of philosophical ramblings, and the narrator is really hilarious. Every single line he speaks, I practically hurt my cheeks from chuckling. And the Switch port has plenty of new content, of which the game makes it very clear how much of it is new and how much of it is from the original release. So if you're the type of person that gets easily confused and wonders like, where are all the changes, then the game will practically spell it out for you. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of you for a lot more details than that. And until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye! Okay, so for the rest of you that need at least a little bit more to go on, the Stanley Parable is a first-person adventure game where you walk around from the eyes of Stanley, and you'll occasionally press the A button to interact with whatever object is in the center of your view, to make up for the fact that the original game came out on PC, so it's like a fake mouse cursor of sorts. You'll make choices, but the narrator, who is done brilliantly by Kevin Brighting, will tell you what you should be doing, but obviously if you do that, then there will be a sense of unsatisfaction. So at some points you'll want to mix and match, do I want to disobey the narrator? Or maybe I should sort of obey him. And there's 19 endings in the base game alone that you can get. However, only one of them will actually cause the credits to scroll. So you'll want to search for the way to get to that ending. And doing so will require you to really observe what is being said and what is around you. So this game rewards keen observation of how the game's mechanics are, how good you are at spotting little things in the environment. And it expects you to really pay attention to every word that the narrator speaks. Because, again, this is a commentary on video games and the nature of choices. So if you're looking for a game that's much more fun and action-oriented, you're probably not going to like the Stanley Parable very much. It is definitely that kind of game for more introspective players that want to second-guess what it means to be a completionist and what it means to click a choice in a video game. Now, the new content doesn't come right away. You actually have to get to a certain point in the game's narrative, and then the game will literally spell out new content, and then you'll be able to see what was added to Ultra Deluxe. Now, I don't want to say what the new content is, but to put it briefly, I do think it's well worth the expansion, even if you've played the original game, as it continues the original's trend of poking fun of things that you take for granted and becoming, like, stepping it up a notch in the self-aware department. To ways in which I kept asking myself, is this even allowed? Like, are the developers allowed to make these kinds of choices deliberately and not be, like, sued or talked down upon by big corporations? Honestly, it's kind of genius how much these games are able to poke fun of other games and other ways of consuming entertainment. And I just love how the littlest things add up to make a cohesive whole. My opinion of the Stanley Parable is that it's not very fun, but it's not trying to be. It's actually trying to make you feel drained. But the satisfaction is in figuring out how to get as many endings as possible. And with the Ultra Deluxe version, there are actually even more endings that you can get by the subtle changes that are added into the base game after you've gotten through the new content. So for those of you that are really looking into a story-driven game where your choice will matter and will get you multiple endings and will cause you to think, then I can't recommend the Stanley Parable enough. It's only $25 on the eShop, and my brother gave me a gift card for my birthday that made it down to only $18, and I think that was well worth the price. However, you can safely skip it if you're the type that needs something that's more action-oriented, or if you're not the type that likes to think very hard when you play video games. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section if you need any questions answered, or if maybe I left something out. When you're trying to be vague in a game that the slightest thing is a spoiler, it can be pretty hard to realize, oh shoot, I should have talked about the options more. I should have talked about the graphics more, but even that I feel like is a disservice to the game. So hopefully you're okay with the structure of how this turned out, and until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye!
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.